Welcome, everybody, to the You Are Worthy Network. I am your host, Steve Wormer, and happy Friday to all of you. I'm excited to be with you today. I'm excited to introduce you to our wonderful guest. If you're new to the group, which is entirely possible as the Lord continues to bless our growth, I want to say if you're wondering, what is this You Are Worthy Network? Maybe a friend invited you and you're like, yeah, it sounds cool, but what's this all about? I'll try to be brief, but I am a pastor, so you have to forgive me in advance if I go a little long. Uh, really, the You Are Worthy Network is a rebuttal to my previous and at times still stinking thinking. Because as I did deep mindset work the last couple of years, this word unworthy kept popping up. You're unworthy of love. You're unworthy of respect. You're unworthy of success. And I'm like, who is that? The problem was I got it here, but it needed to move that long distance of a few inches to my heart where it really mattered. And as it started to, I said, golly, there's millions of people struggling with this imposter syndrome, lack of self love, negative thinking. And I said, I want to do my part to give back just a little bit. And so I created the network to bring a little shot of hope and encouragement to your day. I interview extremely successful people, but also people that have overcome a lot. Because I got a news flash for you. We all go through tough times, we all go through wilderness seasons. And I want to encourage you today that whatever chapter you're in on your journey of life right now, and I don't say this uncompassionately at all, I just want to remind you it's just a chapter. Your whole book's still to be told, and some of the best chapters are still to come. So be encouraged by that fact. Anyway, you're like, Steve, quit preaching, get on with Kendra. We want to know about Kendra. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kendra and then we'll get into it. Kendra Cooke is a trailblazer known for her ability to help professionals and organizations align with their true purpose and reach their highest potential. With over 17 years of experience coaching and consulting leaders nationwide, she has become a sought after speaker, mentor, branding strategist, and TEDx speaker, known for inspiring audiences with practical strategies that create meaningful transformation. Kendra's innovative approach to time management, financial empowerment, and her mastery in building systems and structures have enabled her and those she coaches to achieve seven-figure results while maintaining balance and working smarter, not harder. She is deeply passionate about teaching people how to build confidence around money, strengthen financial habits, and create long term prosperity while empowering them to discover clarity, eliminate chaos, and create a culture where people thrive and businesses flourish. And there's so much more, but she told me not to read it all. So we'll save some more. Kendra, it's so good to have you. Welcome to the You Are Worthy Network.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve. It's so good to see you.
Oh, it's awesome. I got to know Kendra a little bit, I guess maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, and it's just amazing the small world that it is. We were just talking before we went live about a common friend we have when we both lived in the Middle Tennessee area, and then I'll let Kendra tell you where she's from now, but we also used to live not terribly far away, though I think at different times in another part of the country. But why don't you tell folks where you live now?
I live in Tampa, Florida, about 11, 12 miles from Clearwater on the water, but I'm far enough inland that I don't worry about hurricanes as much as the people on the coast. So
Woo. In that area, the last 4 or 5 years have had their share too.
it has been a rough season. Yes, I told my husband, I said, that's the part they forgot to put on the brochure when we were looking here, the hurricanes, right? And we got hit by four in the first couple of years we were here, but we do love it. We love the sunshine. We love to be able to be outside. The big joke is we moved here for the winters, not the summers. We are in our, dead of summer, but I love the sun. I love nature and the heat. So I don't mind it.
Yeah, I it's first of all, it's amazing to me. Maybe it's just because I'm in that entrepreneur space now, but it's amazing to me the pocket of entrepreneurs in Tampa and Sarasota.
Hmm.
And there's other parts of the country it's like that too. Like I know Phoenix and Dallas are like that too, but I talk to a lot of people from Dallas. I mean, excuse me, from Tampa and Sarasota. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's a mecca down here for sure. It's fun.
So tell us a little bit about the family. Who do you do life with?
My husband, Greg, we just celebrated 30 years of marriage on May 11th.
That's
We
awesome.
met on May 27th and got married less than a year later. And then we have our son, who is Corey, and he's back in Middle Tennessee. He graduated with his undergrad at MTSU, went to App State, went back to Middle Tennessee, and he works in the Realtor Association there as a governmental affairs person. And then I have a bonus daughter, Miss Chloe, and she's in San Diego, and she is a in the Marine Reserves and is a big scuba diver and lives out on the water in San Diego.
Wow, so good. So for those of you that don't understand those college acronyms, MTSU, and I think you did say Middle Tennessee, but Middle Tennessee State University, if anybody wanted to know, that is the Blue Raiders.
Yep.
But yeah, so congratulations on the 30-year anniversary.
Wasn't always easy. We're glad to have that milestone. Uh,
I'm trying to recall if we covered that when we talked. We might have. It's amazing to me also how many people that I talked to that were married in either 1995 or 1996. Of course, that's my age. My 30th is next month. So we were married very, very close together. That's cool. Um, what do you guys like to do for fun in Tampa, but also outside of Florida?
Well, we're foodies. I'm just not going to lie about that. So our one of our New Year's resolutions, goals, whatever, is we are trying a new restaurant every month in the Tampa area and doing a live Facebook review of it, of what we liked and what we didn't like and all of that. So that's been a very fun thing. So we love that. We belong to a country club, so we are golfers. And I'm an avid reader. My husband is an avid TV person. But just all in all, we play games, we play cards, we do drink wine, so we like a wine, different wine collections. But other than that, we're pretty low key. I think we sowed all of our wild oats, and we're crazy, running a company and chasing kids. And so now, I always say, as long as I'm in bed by 9 or 9:30, I'm sure I'm happy to hang out.
That's funny. Do you guys do any traveling?
Yes, we do. We love to travel. So we have a big trip coming up for our 30th. We are going to move to Spain for about 5 weeks. And then my husband's going to come back in the last week. I have some ladies joining me for a retreat, one of my women's retreats. We're just going to do it abroad this year. And so I'm really excited about that. We've never been to Spain. People go, why Spain? I'm like, I've always wanted to go to Spain. So we can hit Portugal, and we're going to do a few days in Portugal, some time in Lisbon. We're trying to hit the European golf tournament in Madrid while we're there. And so we're just going to kind of immerse ourselves into the culture and live kind of like the people that live there and just enjoy experiencing something new for a little bit longer period of time.
Look at the adventure. I love it. Now, do you speak Spanish?
No.
Oh, damn.
We both have downloaded Gaggle on our phone. We have to get busy. I mean, we were just saying we're 90 days away from leaving. We're like, we just need to know like El Baño and, Cerveza Grande, por favor, the all the things that are important, Migo and Gracias. And so we're getting there. But yeah, we got some work to do for sure. Yeah.
Don't feel bad. I took 2 years, and the statements you just said, that's about all I remember. So, um, so Kendra, let's get in the time machine and let's go back to high school. And you'll have to remind me in this flow of dialogue. I know it's Southern Illinois. I know it's near Marion, if memory
Mhm.
serves me correct.
Yep.
But tell us where high school was. Tell us where you grew up. But more specifically, let's say you're in your senior year in high school and there's a week left and you've got the cap and gown. maybe you've got a class ring, maybe not. What's your mindset? Is it you've already got a job, you got a job lined up that summer, you know what you're going to do exactly in the fall, you can't wait to get out of there. The world's yours, you can't wait to go explore it. Or, some kids at that age aren't sure. And that's why I think it's fascinating to talk about mindset of that age. Like, or were you more, well, I guess I better get a job. I guess I better start thinking about what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to kind of miss this place. Where were you on that spectrum?
Oh my goodness. So, I come from a broken home. My dad lives in West Frankfort, Illinois to this day, still on the farm that I came home from the hospital. My parents divorced when I was 2, and my mom was from Carterville, Illinois. She graduated from Carterville High School. And so I too graduated from Carterville High School. And I started work when I was 14 at the Shoney's in Carbondale. My grandmother would drive me, and I couldn't wait tables because of hot coffee, but I could put the breakfast bar together. So, I've been working since I was 14. 15, I worked in an insurance agency. Tony Gates was our State Farm agent there, and he gave me an after school program. And then when I started driving, I worked at Dairy Queen. So I've always worked from the time I was able to work. And my mindset, my senior year in high school with a week to go was let's get the heck out of Dodge. Like there is something bigger for me than here. I am so grateful for being raised in a small town. My mom would joke, I never knew how many kids would be sleeping in my floor when I woke up the next morning. We didn't lock our doors, and everybody knew everybody. My grandpa was actually the chief of police in the 60s before he passed in Carterville. And so my roots were deep there, but I knew that I was a city girl and I wanted to go bigger places. So I headed to Nashville, Tennessee the day after I graduated. We graduated on May 27th. We had an overnight party in Carbondale at the SIU, like the game center or whatever, where the gyms and everything were. And I went home and slept for a couple hours, and with cash in my pocket, no cell phone, no GPS, no, credit card, directions on a piece of paper, got in my car and went to Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow. So, I mean, I love the work ethic of working young. Um, I love the safety of the small town, all of that. I love the story about you said it was your grandfather that was the police chief.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. And folks, if you don't know that area of the country, it sounds a little funny that you said Carterville, right?
Yep.
Carterville to Nashville, I'm guessing is 2 hours.
About three and a half. About three and a half
Okay, it's a
hours.
little further, but not terribly far.
No.
Why Nashville specifically?
Well, because that was really the only vacation I'd ever been on. We had gone to St. Louis to Six Flags, and we had gone to Opryland when it was still there as a theme park. And so I just knew that I wanted to go to Nashville to get my undergrad wanted to be an attorney. That was my mindset. My mom had been a court reporter at one point in time, and I just thought I wanted to be an attorney. So I was going to go get my undergrad. And I'd done my homework with my guidance counselor, and she says, Nashville Tech has an undergrad program. And so I was like, I'll go work at Opryland for the summer, get my feet wet, and then I'll start school in August. And to finish that story, when I got to Nashville to apply at Opryland, all the jobs were gone. They were on a wait list. They'd already hired their summer staff and trained them. And I panicked because I only had cash, and it was basically my graduation money and a little bit I had saved up. And so, here I am in a new state and with cash and no cell phone and no GPS. And I keep going back to that because people are like, wait, you just took off and went. And I'm like, that's what we did. Like we weren't
Yep.
connected to anybody. And so when I called my mom crying, oh my gosh, I can't get a job. What am I going to do? And she said, listen, get a newspaper, find a temp agency, go apply at a temp agency. They'll place you somewhere. And so that's what happened. I got a newspaper, got lost the first day. If you're from Nashville and you're listening to this, there's like what appears to be 30 Old Hickory
Oh,
Boulevards. And
yeah.
I was staying off of Old Hickory Boulevard, but it was the wrong Old Hickory Boulevard. And so I got lost the first day, had to go back home, call from the payphone on the corner to tell them that, I missed my appointment. And the lady's like, "Where are you specifically?" God bless Pat. She's still my mentor this day, my very first ever mentor. But she was like, "Do you have a piece of paper? Pull out of the parking lot, go left, go to Briley Parkway, go east." I mean, she literally walked me through step by step to get there. And they hired me on the spot to be their receptionist for the summer. And I was like, "I can do it for the summer, but I'm going to be an attorney." And so she promised me that she would place me when the summer was over. And she did. And it was in a real estate office.
What year was this?
1988.
So for a lot of you don't know, I lived in Nashville for 30 years. I still call it home. Um, this is bringing back so many memories just hearing you relive this. Like we won't even we could do a whole segment on the demise of Opryland and what a poor decision that was.
Yes.
But yeah, so we lived in Nashville overlapping, but never met each other, right?
Right.
I lived in Nashville from 1985 to 2013, and fascinating some of the parallels. It's bringing back a lot of memories for me, but this isn't about me. This is about you. So did you ever go to Nashville Tech?
Yes, for one semester. So when I got placed on my assignment from the temp agency, it was a weekend receptionist job in a real estate company off of Belmead Boulevard on Harding Road. And at that time was one of the biggest independent real estate companies. And so I would go in on Saturday and Sunday. And again, going back to 1988, there were no lock boxes, there was no MLS. We had the big MLS books and we had the big box with keys. And so my job on the weekend was to organize and alphabet the keys, take a black Sharpie and write the names of the agents and deliver the books that had come in, and to set appointments when agents would call. I would tell them if I had the key, they could come pick up the key, and I was in charge of checking in and checking out keys. That's what I did on Saturday and Sunday. And the owner and his wife, who are lovely humans have passed on now, but they would come in every weekend. And he's like, "Man, you're going to be a great realtor." And I was like, "Mr. Johnson, I'm going to be an attorney." He's like, "I don't think so." And they were lovely. They would bring me leftovers on Sunday, or if she baked a cake, I mean, I was a starving student, literally starving. And they would come in and just sit with me on the weekends. And that man absolutely changed my life. He and his wife gave me an opportunity to come to work there full time and go to school at night. And that if I didn't like it after one semester, they would write me a check for a semester of my tuition. And I'm like, "How
Wow.
can I not do that?" Right. And so I did it. And about 2 weeks later, I stopped going to class. And the rest is history. But that man saw something in me that I did not see. And he helped me go all the way from the front door of his company, open new branches. We went through an REO short sale bust, in the early 90s. And I mean, I literally had a master's degree in real estate thanks to him and one realtor that he let me go open an office with. Those two men absolutely changed my life because they saw something in me that I did not see in myself.
And what was the name of that firm?
Dobson and Johnson.
It does sound familiar. Yeah.
Albert Johnson was the owner, and he had two sons. And he and Mrs. Johnson would come in, and they were just amazing humans. They were definitely a pillar in that Belmead community and Nashville community for a very long time.
Yeah. It sounds very, very familiar. So did you do that for more than 20 years?
Yeah, so I worked at Dobson and Johnson from 1988. I moved with Bill Haggard, who, if anybody from Nashville's listening to this, they all know Bill. He brought Keller Williams to Middle Tennessee. So Bill and I opened a branch for Dobson and Johnson in Brentwood, and then he decided to open his own company, and I went with him. And he's another one. He helped me finish my master's PhD in real estate, but taught me a lot. And I worked with Bill until I got pregnant with my son and I was on bed rest, and I had already gotten licensed in 96 and that was in 98. And so I left Bill and went out on my own, and I sold real estate in Nashville from 1988 until 2017. That was my full-time career. So I had from the receptionist desk all the way up to owning my own brokerage and selling it. So from 88 to 2017. Yeah, almost
Almost
30
30
years.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. So was it both residential and commercial?
I didn't do a lot of commercial. I'm proud to say I sold two Waffle House properties, and that was enough for me. No offense to Waffle House, but I was in over my head, all of the codes and all that. So I
Mm.
primarily just stuck to residential. Yeah.
Was one of them on Old Hickory Boulevard?
No, it was the one in Smyrna and the one on 96 going it used to be the Waffle House, and the parking was really bad, and they sold it to a different coffee shop and they tore it down. It's the little A-frame coffee shop that's right there on Frank on 96. Yeah, right when you
In
cross over the
Franklin?
interstate.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So all the way to I can't talk, 2017, but something happened in 2010, right?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, if you were in real estate in seven, eight, nine, and 10,
Mm,
anywhere in that
yeah.
4 year span, you know what happened. The market just but went bananas, and nobody was buying and no one was selling. And I made a really big mistake in my career in that I loved new construction. I still love new construction. And I had been working with multiple builders and kind of went all in that 6 and 7. 2006 was a great year. 2007, we started seeing some stuff. By 8 was a disaster. But I just put a lot of stake in new construction. So I had multiple builders in Rutherford County and Williamson County and Davidson County. And kind of turned my back on my real estate, my residential database, if you will, all my past clients, friends, and not intentionally, but I was just busy doing something else, and I kind of didn't take care of the people who had brought me to the dance. And so most of my builders went out of business. I worked with the banks. I got the houses built, was able to sell them and get paid. And then in 2010, I woke up one day and I was like, I'm out of business.
Mm,
And all my new construction was gone, and I had not paid attention to the people who had been very loyal to me. And I went home and I told my husband, I'm like, we got two options. I either got to fight like heck to survive this, or I got to go find another job. And he just said, what do you need? And I said, I need $150,000 out of our savings account. And I want to keep the doors open and I don't want to lay anybody off. And I got to get back to marketing myself to people who know, like, and trust me, and ask for forgiveness and humble myself a little bit. And I'm proud to say that we turned it around in 10 and 11, invested in me and what I knew would work, and didn't lay anybody off, and got back on track, and just flourished from then. But yeah, that was a really humbling experience because, as realtors, we chase shiny things. As people and human, I mean, human nature is, hey, it's better over here. Is the grass greener over there? This is shiny. This is great. And it was a great lesson to learn that you stick with the one that brought you to the dance. And
mhm.
relationships had always been so good to me. And I lost sight of that for a little while. And that's why I do what I do now. Is when I retired, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back and not a hand out, but a hand up. Like, I'm going to help the
Mhm.
people that are behind me overcome the challenges they're having and pay it forward, because it meant a lot to me that people bet on me again when they didn't have to.
Yeah, I would imagine new construction in cars, that is easy to fall into that trap.
Mhm.
And we won't go too deep on this, but just tell us a little bit about um I totally respect that you humbled yourself out, asked for forgiveness. Did that affect your self-worth during that time?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because I'm like, do I have anything worth coming back to? Like,
Mm,
am I still valuable to them, or did I lose all credibility? And, you know, I will say I am way harder on myself than most people are, because it was very shocking when I finally started making those calls. They're like, girl, we ain't buying no house right now. The market stinks. You don't owe us apology. But I'm like, no, I do. I wasn't checking in and I was not asking how you were. I'm over here just fending for myself. And so, yeah, it does mess with your mind a little bit. And, I mean, mindset is huge when you're in sales or in any business, really. You can send yourself down a negative spiral path without anybody's help, or at least I should say I can.
Yeah, it's legit.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's so legit. I'm thinking back to that time. I'm just going to add one comment to this to just to show that God is bigger. Um, and the friend you and I were talking about
Hmm.
before we went live, we were renting at the time and trying to rebuild our credit. And the year was 2009. I think it was April or May. So right in the thick of what you're describing. And the Lord brought us to new construction, a mini farm. We ended up with two horses, um, and almost 3 acres on the backside of a state park with a river 300 yards away. And I think we got a really good interest rate too in
Yeah.
2009. So,
Yeah.
I don't say that to brag. I'm just saying he can do anything, even in the midst of those tough times. And
Oh, absolutely.
I'm so glad he brought you out of that because that was tumultuous. I remember realtors and brokers and lenders, how difficult that time was.
Hmm.
But you've parlayed that quite well. Tell us, you're involved in a lot. What would you say is your favorite thing to do professionally right now?
My favorite thing to do is probably, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to say it's a tie. I love speaking to groups because my impact is bigger. And so, people ask me all the time, like, why did you leave real estate? You were at the height of your career, you were the biggest in the county, blah, blah, blah. And, I was given an opportunity to change more lives. And not that I wasn't changing some lives, right? Selling real estate, but I was changing them one coffee table talk at a time. Whereas when you put me on a stage, I did a webinar earlier today with over 300 people. If 10 people get the same message and they're able to make a change versus one person, I'm just leaving a bigger legacy. And really, it's just to leave the planet better than I found it. That's just it. So, um, for me, leaving real estate it was hard. But I just knew that there was a bigger platform for me. So I love speaking on big stages. And then my second favorite thing is I started women's retreats, empowerment retreats when I left my coaching career with the company. I still coach now, but independently. But I was with the company and I just felt really God had it on my heart that there needs to be a safe space for women and that we can come and grow and rest and be weary together and somebody to pick us up and pray with us. And when I started looking for those, I really struggled to find one. Now I know there are a lot of them now, but this was several years ago. And so I thought, you
Mhm.
know what? Why not create it? Why not just see if I could really do this? And so they've been continuing to grow. It's a 3-day experience, and we have a chef live in the house with us, and we move our bodies, and we journal, and we pray, and we just really grow. And it's a place we can take off our makeup, and there's no judgment, and a lot of tears sometimes, but those are probably the two things that I feel like is truly, truly moving the needle for the people I'm able to interact with in those two arenas.
So tell me again the name of your retreats.
E3 empowerment retreats. So E3 is the three E's in the name of my book, which is embrace, empower, evolve. So we want to embrace um, growth, I'm sorry, I'm going to get myself confused. We're going to, three E's. You can see it up here. That's right here. So it's embrace
Brace.
change, yeah, empower growth, and evolve into your true self. And so, the E3s, that's what we work on, evolving into the next part of us, pivoting. We have people who open small businesses who come there for support. We have people who are going through transitions. We've had a couple ladies be saved at our retreat. So, yeah, it's just a work from, I just give it to the Lord and he brings me to people. I really don't promote it except to women who know me. and it fills up. And we've been on a wait list, I think, just about every time. I do it twice a year, and yeah, it warms my heart. Actually have a notebook sitting right beside me. I'm starting to work on our retreat for the fall, and I always come up with a theme, and then the things that I'm working on is usually what I take to the retreat. So this one is going to be something about some big dreams, big vision, big life, how to create the next 20 years of my life. And I hope that that will help the people that are there too.
Ooh, that is fire. I love that. So you do that. I want to go back to stage here in a second too. I'm at that age, so if I forget, take us back to the stage. Um, so you do this twice a year. Do you move it around, or is this always in Florida, close to you?
Yeah, it's so far we've had one in Tennessee, which was fabulous. And then the last 2 years we've been in Orlando. There's just an amazing retreat there that I can rent a huge house, and we have the capabilities. We have our own pool there, but it has a beautiful man-made lake with kayaks and paddle boards. And, it's like being at the beach, but it's man-made. And there are restaurants there, walking trails. There's a trolley that takes us to dinner. It's easy to fly in for most of my ladies that are coming from all over the country. So it's been there, but I do have to say I'm taking this trip to Spain in the last week. I have 5 ladies coming over, and we're going to do our first international retreat in Barcelona. So,
I was going to ask you if E3 was going to be in Barcelona. That's
yep,
perfect.
they are.
So let's have a little fun with this for a second. This is gonna stretch you in one way.
Okay.
Let's take how many of those retreats would you say you've done?
I started in 2023 was my first one, and I've done two a year. So I did 23, 24, 25. So I've done six, getting ready to do
Seven.
seven. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take a sampling of all those women. If you could boil down what they are feeling before entering that retreat into just 3 words, take a sampling, and there's probably some common crossover, right? Describe what they're feeling going into that retreat.
Fearing the
That
unknown. Fearing the unknown. A lot of them that come for the first time, they're like, we didn't know what to expect. You exceeded our expectations. So all they know really is the title. And so whether it's difficult conversations don't have to be difficult, or whether it's be seen, or it's big vision, or it's next steps, they're like, ooh, I'm intrigued. Next steps for what? And so we do between 4 and 6 breakouts. And so we do personal, we do spiritual, sometimes financial, growth in their workplace. So they don't really have any idea what they're signing up for. So I would say 3 words is they have some fear of the unknown. They don't really know what's going to happen. Um, but there's some major, major breakthroughs, and just incredible growth that happens when you put women together and they're willing to support each other and engage and be raw and real and authentic. I just think that as women right now, we are craving authenticity and not comparison, and acceptance, and that is 100% guaranteed in our space.
so I'm not gonna let you do the unknown part. I'll let you
Okay.
have fear.
Okay.
You did mention intrigued. Would you say that's one?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Give me give me give me one more.
I think they are fearful. I think they're intrigued, and I think they are, mm, I want to say ready. Like they're ready for change. They're ready for growth. They're prepared. They're prepared to get raw and real and authentic.
All right, let me make sure I got this right. So these women, and they vary. That's why we're doing a sampling, right?
Absolutely.
Fearful, intrigued, prepared.
Yeah.
And they spend, is this a weekend retreat?
Yeah, they come in on Thursday. We do a dinner Thursday night, and then we go hard in classes and breakouts, all of that Friday and Saturday. And then we celebrate the success Saturday night at a nice dinner. And then we all go home on Sunday.
So on Sunday, they're leaving. besides emotional, happy tears,
Yeah.
what three words are they feeling Sunday?
Inspired, encouraged, and probably lighter. Like they've left some negative, they've left some fear, they've left some, naysay, negative mindset in that room.
See, I like to do this because it shows the power of God and it shows you how effective he's using you as his vessel. These ladies have moved from fear to inspired, big
Mhm.
difference, right? Intrigued to encouraged, prepared to lighter. See, the spirit has done a massive thing
Mhm.
in those 3 days. And he called you to be his vessel to do that. And these are my words, not yours, but I'm sure in some ways it's like standing on holy ground watching these women change before your very eyes, right?
Oh, it's amazing. Like that's why I do what I do, coaching and the retreats and everything. I always pray every day before I go in with them to say, you know what, let them, let this experience exceed any expectation they had and let them soar higher than I would have ever taken them and or I could ever go myself. Like I just, yeah, I just want everybody I coach to outperform me, out inspire me. I mean, all of those things. Like that's the pay it forward mindset. I could have stayed in real
Yeah.
estate and I just wasn't fulfilled there. I was ready to go, change the world in a different light.
Yeah. I love that. Is that your book behind you?
Yeah, the Daily Well is my planner. So that second edition just came out. It has gratitude journal in it, your path to prosperity, so doing your monthly budget, really all the things that we talk about, plus your daily workflow. And then the book up here is my autobiography, and I married that with my passion for journaling. So I share my story throughout the book with journaling prompts in case you're going through some of the things that I'd gone through. You can kind of journal and have a place to put it on paper while you read the book.
Now, can you tell folks where they can find both of those?
Yeah, and my website, kendracooke.com, you can order the planner or the book. You can get them on Amazon. The Daily Well Planner, you can do dailywellplanner.store, and that takes you right to the link, and you can order it from there. So,
And we'll have those links in the show notes after the interview also. Let's go back to the stage for a second.
okay.
So, let's say that an event planner calls you, and I know this is not the perfect scenario, but it is ideal in that there's going to be 500 people in the room, and you're going to be given 45 minutes, and this is why it's ideal. You can talk about anything you want to talk about. What's your topic of choice and why?
I love to talk about money.
What part? What aspect?
All of it. All the emotion around money, and that I just did it. I just flew in night before last. I was in Michigan and talked on a big stage there. And I do a talk called Redefining Rich. And the first question I ask on the first slide is, "What does rich mean to you?" And you get all kinds of different, rich. I can buy anything I want. Rich is peace. Rich, money in the bank. I mean, you get it all. But what happens as we dig into that is we realize that money is a topic nobody wants to talk about. And it's because we're fearful of being judged. We have too much. So we couldn't clearly have made that on our own, or we don't have enough. So we're not big enough for the circle we want to be in. Or, our parents didn't talk about money. So we feel uneducated. So therefore, we don't want to have a conversation about money. Or somebody's been led down a road and lost some money. So they're very angry about it. For me, I had a really love-hate relationship because I came from a broken home. And so my mom was doing the best she could on a single family income with a little bit of child support. And when I'd want something, she'd say, "You have to ask your dad." And then I'd go to my dad, and my dad would say, "I give your mom child support, ask your mom." So money was awful. I did not like it. So then the minute I started making it, I did not know how to manage it because nobody taught me. So I will have really and I say hard conversations because money is hard, right? So I love that aspect. I can also teach you how to do a personal budget and really get out of debt. That is chapter 4 in my book is Money Matters because I've been in debt. I've been one bad month away from bankruptcy. I can tell you a system to get out of it. And I'm very transparent about that. And then I can tell you how to build a business and scale it because I did it from one person to an 8, 9 person team and was able to sell it because of the profit margins. And so I just love to talk about money. That's a universal topic, whether I'm talking to property managers or I'm talking to business owners or I'm talking to real estate agents. But that's my favorite. And then the other one is just I talk about embrace and empower, evolve, and all about how to embrace where you are, but you can set expectations to get out of that, and change and grow. And then how do you write your vision and evolve into who you want to be? So I have a talk around that too. So those are my two favorites. But money, it finds its way in any topic I have just about.
Was your TEDx on one of those?
It was on money for female entrepreneurs. Yes.
Would you be willing to drop the link into the comments after the interview's up?
Absolutely. I'd be honored to. Yes.
Love for people to check that out. So, as we're wrapping up, what would 2026 Kendra Cook say to 1988 Kendra Cook? That
Oh,
girl fresh out of high school and moving to Nashville. What would you say to her?
mm, I can get emotional about that a little bit.
It's
Um,
okay.
Bet on yourself.
Mm,
Just bet on yourself. People are going to disappoint you. You're going to disappoint yourself. People are going to make promises to you that don't come true. You're going to struggle with money. You're going to struggle with time. I, but man, at the end of the day, I can always bet on myself. Like I know my work ethic, I know my heart. I can look at myself at night and say, man, you're a really good human. And I just think that for me, there's been so many seasons I felt like I was by myself. Gosh, I can't tell my husband this. I'll look like a failure, or, I don't want my boss to know this. And I just put it on my back and I got it done. And I just had a lot of big dreams and aspirations for myself. And I'm not going to say that people did not help me. Please understand that. Oh, there's so many people. But in some of my darkest hours, I had to go inward and say, bet on yourself. Like leaving all my friends in Illinois, and they're all like, are you crazy? Like, what are you doing? We're all going to SIU or we're all going to St. Louis and we come home every weekend. And I was like, no, and I mean, just like walking away from my real estate company, my husband and I, we fasted and we prayed. And I might have shared this message with you when we talked, but I was given an opportunity to go speak on a big stage and help grow the coaching company I'd been a part of. And I was like, nope, I'm gonna retire at 50. I got this down. This is my plan. And they made me an offer and I went and checked it out. And my husband and I came home and I said, you know what? We just got to pray about it. We got to fast and pray about it. We got to figure it out. And about a day and a half in, he laughs at me when I tell the story, but it was the truth. He came in and he said, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to eat. Like it's crystal clear. God's telling us to go and I'm going to eat. So you do your thing. And I'm like, what was your message? I hadn't gotten that message yet. And he just looked at me. He said, you're so happy on Thursday. And that was the day I coached. I didn't take any real estate appointments.
mm,
I only coached on Thursday. And he's like, you are so happy and so vibrant. And just that's the best day of the week. And he said, and when you
mm.
could do that 4 or 5 days a week, I think that's where God wants you to go. And I was like, okay, let's eat. So I just again I walked away at the height of my career, and that's what he said to me. He said, Kendra, he said, athletes go out on top. And he said, you're at the top of the real estate game. Like, what else do you need to prove? What other accolade, what other plaque do you need? That's where you're fulfilled. And so if Michael Jordan can go out on top, why don't you go out on top? And I was like, again, betting on myself, walking away, not going to tell you that when you read my book, you're going to be like, oh, I feel that. But I was like, people are going to talk about me. People are going to think I can't make it in real estate. I had all of the devil attacking me. But I just knew that I could bet on myself and I could go take this position and I could blow it up and I could be happy. And then I walked away from that position and I'm on my third career in my 50s and I'm still betting on myself. Like I didn't know how to get a speaking gig on my own. I didn't know if I could set up QuickBooks and not QuickBooks, but Square charging people for coaching. But you know what? I bet on myself and I'm 3 years in and I'm happier than I've ever been. So just bet on yourself.
Ooh, I love that. And you did one better than Michael Jordan. He went back with the Wizards. You stayed out of real estate, so you made the right call. I really appreciate your candidness. You've been very, very successful in a lot of things, but yet you were vulnerable about the downtimes. And that's what I'm trying to really convey to my viewers is success is at your fingertips, but you're going to have to overcome some things along the way. And that's normal in a journey worthwhile. And it's just one chapter of their life, just like your 3 or 4 years there in the mid 2000s were a middle part of your journey, a growing part of your journey. But I love what you've shared. And I want to say something to you, Kendra, that you've come a long way since Carterville. But even when you were preparing that buffet at Shoney's at 14, you were worthy then too. And you're worthy now. And I just want to thank you for being my friend and being our special guest today. This has been awesome.
It has been awesome. Thank you so much for letting me share. And yes, bet on yourself. I know you're betting on yourself in your new season too. And God's leading you just like He's leading me. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Guys, you are worthy of love, respect, and success. I love Kendra's advice. Bet on yourself. And she never used this word in this interview, I don't believe, but something deep down inside her, I feel safe saying she's tenacious. You got to be tenacious too. I love Winston Churchill's quote, when you're going through hell, keep going.
Right.
If you want to see a better day, a brighter chapter, you got to keep going. So guys, keep going. You are worth it. I appreciate each one of you. Till next time, take care.